Yo, guys, and welcome back to the Let's Talk podcast. It's Musty back here, and I've got a special guest today. Tee Abraha, how are you today? You okay?
Ooh, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm not too bad, man. I just really want to thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Awesome.
You're someone that's quite interesting, especially being a fellow Brummie.
Yeah,
We're both we're both
most
East
people don't know
African.
that though.
Say that again?
Exactly, yeah. Most people don't know that I'm from Birmingham. Like when they meet me and they're like, "Oh, you've got an accent, you've got a twang," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually from Birmingham." So
The funny part is, yeah, you don't even have a Brummie accent, you know? Not as bad as me, anyway.
no, yeah. It comes out like sometimes it comes out. I try to suppress it. It gets me more jobs that way.
That's good, man. Do you know what? Like, with being an East African and being from Bromley, like definitely I've felt that that interaction side of it. And
Yeah.
I've been watching your page for like a while, you know, because I've seen like you're doing a few things, hosting everything. Like I don't know you personally, but
Yeah,
see definitely your journey is going to an amazing place. So I
the
just
right
thought I'd
there.
bring you on. So for the people that don't know you, give them a quick intro.
Okay, so for people that don't know me, I am
Yeah,
Tee Abraha. I do online content creation. Sometimes I make skits. Sometimes I take nice pictures and just put them on Instagram.
yeah,
Sometimes I host for brands. I host for events such as beauty blogger events with
yeah.
a couple of influencers and other content creators. Music supported by Tribe. Also Cobalt, the music label. I also do like many things. I do a dating online show right now
Okay.
on one of the Havisham platforms. It's called
Yeah,
Havisham Time. I host every
yeah.
Wednesday, and it's for 3 hours. Super long. I get tired, but it's fun. And I guess that's what I do mainly on social media. And then I
Mhm.
have like my 9 to 5, and I'm a part-time student. So
That's sick, man. You're doing a lot of stuff, so you're not kind of boxing yourself in one thing, which is amazing.
oh my
So
God, no. That's one thing you can say is I don't like being boxed in, whether it's to a stereotype, whether it's to like a role. I'm I was always that little girl where like my mom would be like, no, you can't do this. And then I would
yeah,
purposely do it just because she said no. Or if someone was
yeah,
to say, no, you can't leave now. And then they'll be
hmm
like, okay, now you can go. I'll
hmm
wait 5 more minutes just so it looks like I've decided my own fate. Or
yeah.
like, I don't like being boxed in.
Do you know what? When you say that, it's very similar with myself. Like I don't like to be boxed in. Like with me, I'm embarking like on a journey where I just want to get into like presenting and hosting things. But again, like I
Okay.
don't want to limit myself with just being that. I
Yeah.
want to kind of expand and see what else I can do. But the main important thing is, yeah, like I know the reasons why I want to get into it. I want to, most importantly, what got you into it? Like, where did this all start for you?
Do you know what's so weird? Someone asked me this question today on the street, like
Yeah,
they just stopped me. But
yeah,
and bear in mind, this is so weird. I am on
yeah,
holiday. I'm in Amsterdam right now. I'm checking my girl, and
yeah,
like this person that I know of social media like saw me today and was like, "Oh my God, hey, like we should catch up, blah blah blah." And they were like, "How did you start this thing that you're doing online?" So
yeah,
yeah. To be fair, it was really out of like boredom, I guess. I was like doing YouTubing at the time and it wasn't going great for me.
yeah.
And then a friend of mine was like doing a fashion show and he was
hmm
looking for a presenter. And I was thinking, like, I speak on the camera all the time, like, I'm sure I can do it. So I messaged him and I was like, hey, like, I'll be down for the role if you're paying. And he was like, yeah, right, cool. And I did it. And to be fair, I lied to him and said it was like I've done it many times, but even though it was my very first show. And
yeah,
then once I got there, he loved my energy and he was like, and then one of my mentors, Eddie, who is really known in the presenting world, was there as an actual guest. And he saw me at the end of the night. And he was like, "You're really good. You've got some talent, but like, there's a couple of things you need to work on. But other than that, you're really good." And he was
mm,
like, "If you ever move to London, like, give me a shout." And I was like, "Okay, well, yeah, we'll see." Didn't really get into presenting after that.
yeah,
And then I moved to London spontaneously.
hmm
And I
yeah,
was like, hey, do you remember you told me to give you a shout when I was in London? So shout. And he was
yeah.
like, perfect. Like, I've got this event next week. I need you. Come over. We'll do some stuff. And ever since then, literally, it's just one role to another role to another role. So yeah, it's been
Yeah.
going great.
So it's like something you were doing, but it's more of like you were at the right place at the right time, sort of thing, and before you know it started to like a snowball effect, sort of thing.
Yeah, do you know what? No. It kind of, I made it into a snowball effect because I felt like I had to prove myself when I was in London to people why I should be like casted on a low budget. I should be given the chance to be the presenter when there's like other presenters in London who are, you know, better at their role. And I kind of had to fight for myself. And then, yeah, just whenever like as a host, I would have to go around, you know, speak to everybody, like make sure that they're enjoying themselves throughout the night. And then whenever I see someone that I feel like, oh, because I always ask them, what do you do? Like, da, da, da. And then they could be like, oh, I run events and da, da, da. And I make sure I'm acquainted with them. And I'm always like, if you ever need like a host, put me in mind and blah, blah. So then I'm kind of creating jobs for myself. And then they end up messaging me like 3 weeks later and be like, oh, hey, I remember you saying you're a presenter. I've got a show coming up. Would you like to host it? So I kind of forced myself in.
Okay, and I hear that. Do you know what me? Like my journey was a bit more different. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm at the very, very beginning, but the very first stage is like I wanted to do something like this where like I've been watching like a lot of people and like, do you know, like people like Chunks, Young Philly, Harry Pena and all those people. Like I'm an introvert, so unless people come and approach me and speak to me, I'm more of a just kind of quiet in my own zone sort of thing. But when I meet my like friendship groups and whatnot, like we have like crazy discussions about all types, politics, life, space, anything you want. Yeah? So my friends were like, you should do something like this where you can put these conversations we're having online. But I've always had this fear of like putting yourself out there and like what people might have to say about your opinions. So it took like a lot of time for me to like, you know what, I remember the first time I sat in front of the camera and I put it on and I can just see myself and I was like, recorded it, look back and I'm like, nah, I don't like this, you know, I don't like this, I don't like this. And I had to like pass it on to someone else for them to be like, oh, you know what, this is all right, you know, put it out, like your content is quite good, you just gotta like, don't care about the criticism or whatnot, just put yourself out there. And I'm starting to learn like how to network with people as well, because I'm not the type, I like to do things on my own. Like I don't like to like ask for this or ask for that. But something I'm learning now is networking. So talk to me about your networking, because I've seen you've posted a few things about classes of networking.
Yeah, exactly. If you know me, you know that I treat networking as like the holy grail. Before I go into the networking thing, you said you're an introvert, right? I want to say one thing, well, two things. One, I'm also psychologically like personality trait, like if you was to do it, I would be considered as an introvert too. Surprisingly, people would be like, oh, T, you're so loud, that you're gobby. But I am actually an introvert. Like I get socially like tired, and before anything, even like before this call, I have like mini social panic attacks where I'm like, okay, I have to just sit in silence for like 10 minutes just by myself to acknowledge what's going on or what's about to happen. So one thing I would say to you is fake it till you make it. When I am really scared and nervous, this is what I do. I talk really loud and I just project my voice, so I fool my brain to think that I'm not being scared, and like I just pretend, and everyone else won't be able to see that I'm pretending, but it will only it will trick me and everyone else around me, so no one theoretically would know that I'm kind of like scared or thinking, oh, what is everyone going to think of me, blah blah blah. And also there's like this study that says that we think 44%, we overreact 44% more than what we think. So for example, like you may think you could be wearing like a red hat and you're thinking, oh right, like everyone's watching me because I've got this red hat, blah blah, but in reality like only 40, you're overreacting by 44%. So that's one thing I want you to know. And in terms of networking, so networking is literally what has got me through like what I've done it, like I said, I don't have an age or anything, so I've done everything by myself. So networking is key. Like I will risk like leaving my house at on crazy hours just to go network with someone, and like I make sure I message them and I'm like, hi, like on Insta, I'll drop them a DM. I'm like, hey, I've seen that you're doing similar to me. I would love to like catch up on coffee. My treat, of course. And then networking events, I always go to them. And then I make sure when I go to networking events and when I vibe with someone and I see someone that is doing what I want to do, but like they're at a later stage and I'm like in the beginning of it, I will always message them and be like, hey, just so you know, you're my new mentor. And then they feel that responsibility, like, rah, like someone looks up to me, you know. And then it's kind of like tricking them, and then they're like, oh, yo, T, this is happening, like, want to roll through? And I'm like, yeah, why not? But yeah, networking. So I go to networking events, making sure, just even like messaging people and be like, hey, I see that you're in the same field, would love to like go on set and see like how you do your day. And then yeah.
No, amazing. Definitely, that's what networking I think is massive, but it's one of those you've got to learn and get yourself out there to kind of reach out to the right people. So tell me about your first event you went to, like the first time you had to like go in front of camera, like in front of a lot of people. What was that like for you? And did that challenge you mentally?
To be fair, so I've kind of been in the limelight for a while, like not like on social media, blah, blah, but like since I was little, like I did performing, like I was a ballerina. I was little, like I would get my parents to record me. So I was never really, actually, to be fair, at one point in my life, I was camera shy of photos because my eyes would go red, but that was because I was small. But like in terms of like filming, I was always like, my dad would like always have a camera in his hand, so I was like very acquainted with like the camera life. But my first time presenting, it was over like in front of 100 people. It was a fashion show. That was like when I'm like taking control of what's going on, instead of being like the talent. I was the presenter of the talent, if that makes sense. So that was really like, it was nerve-wracking, but it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I did for I did another one where there was a couple of influencers and content creators and just bare people I used to look up to and think, wow, like you're on my social media every single day, like you're just walking around here and I'm gonna tell you what to do next. I just thought that was mad. And it was crazy, and I felt really nervous there. I felt super nervous. I remember drinking like 2-3 glasses of champagne before getting on stage. Definitely wobbling. I was definitely wobbling on the thingy. I asked them not to give me any like footage because I didn't want to see myself. I was that shy. But to be fair, it was good. And I was so nervous because I went by myself. I didn't have no one with me, so no one was watching me. It was just me that just went, which was weird now looking back at it. And it was so last minute, the changes. There was no script, and then last minute there was a script I had to learn within like 20 minutes with mad questions. So yeah, and then you had to go and like make sure everyone was okay. So it was nerve-wracking. So yeah.
So talk to me about you said you moved to London and you've left Birmingham. Yeah. Do you reckon that's helping your career, or has helped you making that move from Birmingham to London?
100%. And do you know what? People think it's like, oh yeah, London because there's bare opportunities and blah blah blah. I'll tell you now, the opportunities, yes, it helps, of course, because I'm not going to be hosting nothing if there's no opportunities, right? But what it helped me more is the fact that I'm solo, I'm by myself. I have no parents, I have no money, like no nothing. Well, I've got money, I'm working, but like I don't have a team. So it's just me, myself. So it makes me want to hustle, you know? And like, before, if I was in Birmingham, I'd feel like if I had a show and things weren't working out, or if I didn't have money and my girls were going to be there and I didn't have the right outfit, I would just cancel. But now, because I'm thinking like, oh, no one that I know is going to know me, so I don't have that extra pressure. And because it's like London, I don't really know anyone, so even walking on the street looking like a mess going into a show, I don't feel no type of way. So yeah, I think definitely moving and being by myself has helped me move into the right direction in this like little world that I'm trying to get into.
Because you know what, I thought about at a later stage, I was thinking of moving to London just to kind of branch out and meet more people. But like, I don't know, man. Every time I go to London, it's so different to Birmingham. Like, it's like way, way, way different. Like, everything is so fast paced. Like, I just could not see myself living like in London. But it's definitely something I'm exploring at some point. So I just thought I'll ask you and see. Yeah, go
no, definitely recommend it. Where I live in London, it's literally like, it's not crazy. It's like a very quiet place. It's almost like near a village. So I get the best of both worlds of like having the city crazy life when I go into work, and then like when I'm home, it's very like quiet and like serene and far away from everything. Like, I literally live next to a golf course, and like I have horses like as my pets around the corner. So like
no way.
Far away. yeah. So I get the best of both worlds, so it's good. But definitely, I would say if you want to challenge yourself and if you want to definitely push yourself into this world, I would definitely say move to London or just move anywhere. Like, for example, like you can move to Manny, just like move a bigger city, just because it will push you to be like, to graft more, because you're on your own, you're independent, you want to make it happen. And I just remember promising my brother, like I told him, I don't want to come back to Birmingham until I've made it. If I haven't made it, there's no way that Birmingham is seeing my face.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like, you've got that hustler mentality, and sometimes I feel like if you're passionate enough, like, you need to have that to kind of drive you to wherever you want to get to. But so I want to ask you about some of the things you host. Yeah? So talk to me about Habesha Time. Talk to me about that, man, because
the most known right now is I do it every Wednesday. I host for 3 hours on a live, and it's like a Habesha. If they don't know what Habesha is a term given to most Ethiopians and most Eritreans. So I kind of host like a Habesha Love Island kind of thing where we get people on. I asked a couple of questions to the guys, I asked a couple of questions to the girls, and then I thought it would make more interactive by like getting the people watching the live to have them couple up the people that I just interviewed. And then at the end, I take a live poll of who they think should be coupled up. And then Habesha Time will then pair them up in a little group and kind of see if there's chemistry. If not, they'll jump back into the live and like next week and see if they can find another match. But it's worked, so I have had, definitely it's worked, because they've come back to me and they've like, oh yeah, I've had a few successful like FaceTime calls and like, thank you so much, Tee. And it's really nice because a couple of people are like messaging me saying like, there's tension between the two nations right now, or blah blah blah, and you're putting the diaspora, is it diaspora?
Yeah.
The kids like the outside, like you're bringing them together without no hostility. And it's really nice, like even though there is hostility between the two nations, like I don't feel like people are being like, they don't see me as like, oh, an Eritrean, she's an Eritrean, da, da, da. It's more like, oh, like she's actually trying to help. So yeah,
that's amazing, because do you know what, I'm not like, I've seen clips of it, and definitely looks interesting because there's a high engagement rate on it. But I want to know, like, because seeing like this online dating, what was like the craziest demand someone's got given? So like when someone's looking for a partner, like they ask for like, oh, I want a girl that looks like this, etc., etc. Like, what were the craziest demands?
That was one. They're all amazing, although, so if they ever watch this, they're gonna get mad at me. But there was one where they were like, she has to cook. Like she has to cook, she has to be like a child of God, she can't smoke, she can't drink, she can't do this, and I was like, right, okay, that's your like preference. And I was like, do you cook? They're like, no. Do you drink? Yeah. Do you smoke? Yeah, but only on the weekends. Right. Do you go out? Everything they were looking for in like a partner, they didn't have. And I was like, are you okay? Like, you need to have some similarity. Like, it can't be like, I can't find you someone opposite you completely, like, because they're not going to want to share the same, you don't share the same values as them, so they're not going to want to have that match. And it's hard explaining that to someone when they just snap their fingers and think, well, T, can you just make this happen? Or sometimes in the DMs, they'll message me and be like, I'm 5'2", I don't get many girls, like, can you help me out? I don't know what to do. I want a girl that's like 5 foot, that knows how to clean, is going to be nice to my mom, that speaks this language and is this religion. And sometimes it gets so specific. It's like, wow, boy, like, I'm not Tinder, you know, like I only know certain so much, like there's only so much I can help. But yeah,
do you know what, it's sick, man, because like I said, I've seen a bits and bobs of it, but like,
did you see
I've always
where my dad jumped on?
Say that again, sorry.
Did you see the one my dad jumped on?
Nah, I haven't, you know, I haven't.
This one. So there was this guy that tried to move to me instead, which is not, it's, by the way, can I just make a disclaimer? if you are on Habesha time and you watch me do this, you know that I don't like being asked why I'm single, because I feel like I have to repeat myself all the time on that show. Here, it's fine, I can explain it to you because I guess you've never heard it, but like on the show, and then they feel like they're entitled to move to me, and I'm like, I'm doing a show. My parents watch this, like so many of my family members watch this, and then once this guy was like, oh, let me like call your dad and speak to him, blah blah. And as a joke, I was like, okay, F it. Like my dad's, he's cool, so he would understand. So I rang my dad on the live, and then the guy and my dad were busting convo, and it turned into this whole thing. And now it's like this inside joke of like Tee's dating this guy. Da, da, da.
No
Yeah.
way. He's almost there. It looks like it. So, but
Yeah.
that is mad, man. Because you know what? Do you know what? With shows like that, is like I would expect for someone to go rogue and just try to move to the person. But you don't see people on Love Island move to like the presenter. That is just. But,
And if they probably won't catch it on camera. And I don't
yeah.
think they do. I don't think they moved to them because they were so busy and excited meeting the other girls that they didn't think that the presenter was even on the caliber to even chat to. Like I know if I was a guy or a girl and the presenter was some hot guy, I wouldn't want to move to him. I'd be like, right, like, nah, he's on a different level. Like, who am I to chat to him? Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon? Nah, I think for me, I wouldn't, because the reason why I feel like it's different. I think if it's a live show on cameras, you know what? I'm not about embarrassing myself on camera. Like you're never gonna catch me do that. So I'll be more of, you know what? I'll just come to do what I need to do. Yeah, but I think off camera, maybe like I would never think someone's too high or too much for me. But I feel like it's just I don't even celebrities, anything like that. I feel like I don't get starstruck. Let's just say that. Like I've seen a lot of I've seen famous people about. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Sorry,
I don't. Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you. But with famous people, I don't get starstruck or anything like that. But I wouldn't do it on camera. Let's just say that. But so I've got this question to ask you, yeah? And I thought I'd get your opinion on this. So I don't know if you remember a while back. Do you know someone called B Simone? She's an online. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Baby girl.
She went alive, yeah, and she said that obviously she likes to date CEOs rather than a person who does 9 to 5. So my question to you is, yeah, as someone that's striving to become successful and getting more and more into the limelight, does your idea of the guy you go for change? So, for example, if someone like B Simone, she's kind of hit that pinnacle stage where she's become her own boss. So she feels like she don't want to kind of date a 9 to 5 kind of guy. Is that an outlook some women have as they become more successful?
To be fair, probably. Some girls, yeah, definitely. I feel like most girls would, just because it's like as they become successful, their 9 to 5 becomes 3 to 7 or 3 to 9. It's like it shifts because you're taking on more jobs and blah blah blah. So their time frame changes from day to day. So they're going to need someone who's on that caliber that understands, because a 9 to 5 bab would be like at 11:59, oh baby, you ain't text me back. Oh fuck you, man, I'm going to sleep. Da, da, da. Do you know what I mean? Like some guys would get offended. So I feel like girls wouldn't want a pressure of replying to guys whilst they're busy right now. So they probably would want to change their mentality. But with me, I feel like mine wouldn't change. And I'd say change because I'm not saying I don't go for 9 to 5s or blah blah, but the guys that I do speak to usually have their own, they're just content creators. Okay, actually they're not content creators, but like they've always got something going on more than a 9 to 5. So they've understood that. And even from me, like even now I don't deem myself successful or whatever, like I have that crazy amount of hours. So I would preferably want someone that's in my 9 to 5. But yeah, I mean, it changes with girls, but I feel like they're not going to admit it, but I think B Simone just worded it wrong. But I think most people could agree with her. I think what she was trying to say was she wants someone who can understand her crazy life schedule. It's nothing to do with the 9 to 5 itself. Like if it was a doctor doing crazy hours, then I think she'll still be okay with it. I mean, I can't speak for B Simone. I'm just saying for other girls.
No, definitely. I feel like as you become more successful and kind of climb that level in life, you're gonna like see different things, and of course your perspective on what you go for changes.
And
So
you value time more. Like
yeah.
for example, like the difference between someone who has a successful like routine, someone who's successful, and someone who isn't successful, the routine is crazily different, and it's nothing to do with money. It's just that the person who's successful values time more, so they know they've only got 24 hours in that day, and they will never ever get that day back, so they will cherish those hours like crazy. That means they wake up at 5 a.m, then have lunch, have dinner, get whatever they need to, run their errands, get back in, send those emails. They don't like to procrastinate, because that's time going, and time is more valuable than money. And they know that. And I feel like someone who isn't like, hasn't got that structure. I think, can I just quickly tell you something? I feel like, again, the difference between some people that I know and myself in terms of like things, for example, like my friends would be like, oh, well, I can't do that. I'm going to waste 2 years of my life if it doesn't go right, blah, blah, blah. And stuff like that. And I'm just thinking like, but those 2 years are going to go anyway. Like those 2 years will definitely go by. Like the 2 years are going to happen. Just go for it. Or like some people will look at me, like, for example, I did a shift once for presenting ages ago. I did a shift for like £50. I presented for 1 hour, and they were like, oh, T, £50 for 1 hour in front of like these hundreds of people. Are you dumb, T? I'm thinking, yeah, but I would have been at home sitting.
Yeah.
So I'm getting money now. So there's a plus, and I don't think people value that. It's the time. They don't value time like that. So that's one thing I would say is, yeah.
I feel like with that especially, you're so right, because Charlemagne the God always says this. I don't know if you read his book. He always talks about recognizing an opportunity that doesn't have a paycheck attached to it. So a lot of people, like, they're on the ground level, but then they'll be like, if man's not paying me like 100, whatever, like I'm not gonna do that role. But you need to realize the opportunity that comes with it. You may do it for free, but then you get that access. And the next time you can work with more other people and then get that paycheck eventually. So it's always important recognizing opportunity without necessarily looking at what it pays to begin with. So definitely. But my final question to you is, because I'm conscious of time as well, who inspires you?
I feel like my dad, my brother, to be fair, like, okay, yeah, I feel like my brother, and I say brother, not brothers, because my little brother, he's such a creative little boy. Like, he's going to get far in life, honestly, that little kid is. But my middle brother and my dad are two men that I feel like inspire me, because I feel like they just don't get fazed by anything that I do. I could literally have a crown on top of my head, and they will look at me and be like, that's nice. And it's like, with my dad, me and my dad have a competition. Like, we're so competitive between us. Like, he's a grown man and I'm a kid, but like, we're so competitive. So I always like strive to do more when I'm around my dad. And like, he's always like, he's the one that pushed me to go to London. He's the one that pushes me to like starting my YouTube. He pushed me to do everything. Like, and then my middle brother, he's so nonchalant and just doesn't get fazed. So I always try to strive more to see if I can get him to get fazed. He's so like zen, like he's just chilled, and I want to like a reaction from him. So I always do things bigger and bigger and bigger to see if he ever has a reaction. So far, he's only reacted once, so he's in the win. Yeah,
that is mad, man. That's amazing. I mean, have you got anyone in the scene or industry that you maybe look at for inspiration? Do you reckon?
No, but I get compared to 100,000,010 people, and one of them is even Maya Jama, and I love her. But everyone's always comparing me to her, and I'm like, is it because of East African? I'm trying to be a presenter. Like, I just don't understand. But yeah, in the scene, no. To be fair, maybe the girl from what's her name? Corinne, I think. I believe. I forgot her name. She used to do Blue Peters. I used to like her. So maybe her. But to be fair, there's no one like the vision I've got of me becoming the presenter that I want to become. Like the type of presenter I am, I don't think anyone in the scene's like me. Like, I know that sounds really weird and cocky, but like, there's no one in the scene that does what I do the way I do it. Maybe the closest person, and I now understand, sometimes I can see why they say Maya Jama would be Maya Jama, but even like her, me and her were like miles apart. It's just that like our mannerisms are similar sometimes. But yeah, no, to be fair, no one. And I can't wait to be my own like inspiration once I'm in the field that I want to be, and be like, and then hopefully someone that feels like me right now, that's like, there's no one out there like me. Hopefully I could be that person for them.
No, definitely. I mean, from what you're doing, you're definitely on the right track, and I can see you just doing more and more things. And I appreciate your time today. I want to thank you so much again for coming on, despite being on your holiday. And I definitely want to, like, don't be a stranger. Like, I would love to communicate more with you, get to know the skills you've got, and hopefully when this whole COVID thing starts to die down, meet up in person and get to know you a bit better as well.
Exactly. We need to get into the studio.
No, definitely. That's going to be the next move. Hopefully, the studio should open next week because lockdown is starting to ease. So, yeah. So appreciate your time again. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm going to end it off here.
Okay. See you guys later.
Stop.